Bedroom abduction. My crush and her friend filled my room. The signal. Marcus Webb's alarm clock read 3:17 a.m. when the air in his small apartment shifted. The astrophysics researcher had been awake anyway, staring at the ceiling and thinking about the anomaly he detected 3 months ago. A ship, cloaked and elegant, orbiting Earth every new moon. He'd started leaving notes on his windowsill 2 weeks ago. Handwritten messages on university letterhead. I know you're there. I'm not afraid. I'd like to understand. Tonight, apparently, someone had finally read them. The scent hit him first, ozone mixed with something floral he couldn't name, like flowers that only bloomed in starlight. His bedroom lights flickered, then shifted to a soft violet glow. Marcus sat up slowly, his heart hammering against his ribs. The air itself seemed to part like a curtain being drawn back, and through the shimmer stepped 2 figures that made his breath catch. The first was tall, perhaps 6.5 feet, with skin that seemed to hold the depths of space itself, deep indigo scattered with points of light like distant stars. Her eyes were the color of nebulas, swirling violet and silver. Long hair the shade of midnight cascaded down her back, and she moved with the grace of someone used to command. Behind her came someone shorter, more delicate, with skin like moonstone and patterns of soft blue light tracing across her shoulders and arms. Her eyes were large and turquoise, filled with curiosity and something else Marcus couldn't quite name. They both wore simple, elegant garments that seemed woven from liquid silver, and neither wore shoes. The taller one spoke first, her voice like warm honey. Marcus Webb. You've been calling to us.
First contact. Marcus found his voice, though it came out rougher than intended. You read my notes. The taller woman smiled, and the effect was devastating. Every single one. I am Commander Lyra Stellan of the vessel Nightbloom. This is Naya Loomis, my navigator and dearest companion. Naya stepped forward, her luminescent patterns pulsing softly. We've been observing Earth for 2 cycles now, but you're the first to truly see us. To reach out without fear. Her voice was softer, musical. Marcus slowly stood, aware he was wearing only sleep pants and an old university shirt. I'm honored. But why come now? Why tonight? Lyra's expression shifted to something vulnerable. Because your messages weren't demands for proof or threats to expose us. You simply asked to understand, to talk. She moved closer, and Marcus noticed her eyes held tiny galaxies that actually swirled. In all our travels, we've rarely encountered such openness. We're not supposed to make contact, Naya added, settling gracefully onto the edge of his desk. But Lyra convinced our council to allow this exception. You intrigued us, Marcus Webb. His mind raced with 1,000 questions about their technology, their world, their biology. But what came out was simpler. Would you like some tea? Coffee? I don't know what you... Lyra laughed. The sound like wind chimes. Your hospitality is noted. We can consume most Earth beverages, though they affect us. Interestingly, the next hour dissolved into conversation. Marcus made chamomile tea with shaking hands, while Lyra and Naya explored his apartment with childlike wonder, examining his books, his telescope, the photographs pinned to his walls. They asked about his family, his work, why he spent nights staring at stars. I've always felt like I was looking for something, Marcus admitted, sitting cross-legged on his bed while they settled nearby, like there was more out there waiting to be found. Naya's patterns brightened, and he realized they responded to her emotions. We felt the same. Our people are explorers, but we're often alone, watching worlds from a distance, never touching. Lonely, Marcus said softly. Yes, Lyra agreed, her voice dropping. Terribly lonely sometimes. Their eyes met, and something electric passed between them.
Connection beyond words. As dawn approached, the conversation shifted from science and exploration to something more personal. Lyra explained how her people bonded, not through ceremony but through shared experience, through truly seeing one another. On our world, we believe connection is the only thing that matters across all the universe, she said, sitting closer now. Everything else, technology, power, knowledge, means nothing without someone to share it with. Marcus felt the truth of it resonate in his chest. How many nights had he sat alone with his discoveries, wishing for someone who understood? Naya reached out tentatively, her fingers hovering near his hand. May I? We experience touch differently. It allows us to share emotions, memories, fragments of ourselves. He nodded, and when her fingers brushed his, warmth flooded through him. Not invasive, but like sunlight breaking through clouds. He felt her curiosity, her kindness, her loneliness that echoed his own. When she pulled back, her eyes were bright. You carry such beauty inside you, she whispered. Such capacity for wonder. Lyra watched with tender intensity. Our people usually bond in pairs, but there are legends of triadic bonds, 3 souls that complete one another. She paused, weighing her words. I feel something with you, Marcus. Something I've only ever felt with Naya. His heart thundered. I feel it too. Both of you. Since you walked through that shimmer, it's like something clicked into place. Naya moved closer, her luminescent patterns dancing. This is forbidden in so many ways. We're not supposed to interact with developing worlds. I could lose my commission. I could lose everything if I tell anyone about this, Marcus countered. But right now, I don't care. Lyra's hand joined theirs, her touch cooler but equally electric. Through the connection, he felt her strength, her loneliness, her fierce protectiveness of those she loved. He felt the bond between her and Naya, years of trust and affection. And now, impossibly, he felt himself becoming part of it. Stay, he heard himself say. Just for tonight. Help me understand this. Naya looked to Lyra, who nodded slowly.
A choice offered. They talked until sunrise painted Marcus's window gold and pink. Somewhere in those hours, they'd shifted closer, Lyra's shoulder against his, Naya's head resting near his knee, their hands intertwined in ways that felt both natural and profound. Lyra told stories of nebulas that sang, of cities built in the hearts of dying stars. Naya described her homeworld's floating gardens where flowers bloomed in zero gravity, petals that held starlight. Marcus shared his childhood dreams of flying, his mother's death that had left him alone, his belief that somewhere in the cosmos he'd find where he belonged. You're running out of time, Marcus said quietly as light strengthened. Your ship will need to move before satellites spot you. Naya's patterns dimmed with sadness. We should return soon. But Lyra remained still, her nebula eyes fixed on Marcus with unusual intensity. There's something I need to say before we go. She took a breath. Our mission here ends in 3 cycles, about 3 of your months. Then we return to the Stellar Council, and likely never come back to Earth. Marcus felt his chest tighten. I understand. You have responsibilities, a whole civilization. Let me finish, Lyra interrupted gently. We're not supposed to offer this. It violates every protocol. But Naya and I discussed it while you slept for those 20 minutes around 4. She glanced at her companion, who nodded encouragingly. We could bring you with us. Our medical technology could adapt your biology for space travel. For our worlds, you'd have to leave Earth, your career, everything you know. Lyra, Naya added softly, we could also request extended assignment here. Stay in orbit, visit regularly. It would mean giving up advancement, remaining in this quiet position indefinitely. Marcus looked between them, his mind reeling. You do that? Give up your future for someone you just met. We've been watching you for months, Lyra said, reading your notes, listening to your observations. Tonight only confirmed what we already suspected. Her thumb traced circles on his palm. Some bonds form across lifetimes. Others form in a single night, when a universe aligns correctly. But we won't pressure you, Naya said quickly. If you need us to leave and never return, we will. Your choice matters most. Marcus stood and walked to a window where his notes had started everything. The city was waking below. Cars, people. The ordinary world continuing as if his entire existence hadn't just shifted on its axis. I need to ask something, he said finally. This feeling between us, is it real? Or is it some kind of biochemical reaction from your species? Something that will fade. Lyra came up behind him, not touching but close enough he felt her warmth. Our bonds are biochemical. Yes, but so are yours, Dopamine, oxytocin, all the chemicals humans call love. Doesn't make them less real. What do you want, Marcus? Naya asked, joining them. Not what's logical or safe. What does your heart say? He turned to face them both, these impossible, beautiful beings who'd crossed a galaxy and somehow found him. I want to try. I don't know how, but I want to find a way we can all be together. Naya's patterns blazed brilliant turquoise. Lyra's smile held relief and joy. Then we find a third option, Lyra said firmly. We petition for extended cultural study assignment. You continue your research, but with access to our knowledge. We build something new, something that's never existed between our peoples. It won't be easy, Naya warned. We'll have to hide the full nature of our bond. There will be suspicion, protocols, obstacles. Marcus reached out, taking both their hands. Nothing worth having ever is.
A new beginning. The next 3 months transformed Marcus's life in ways he could never have imagined. Lyra and Naya secured their extended assignment, much to their council's surprise. Officially, Marcus became a liaison for Earth-based astronomical research, helping identify phenomena their instruments detected. Unofficially, he became something far more precious. They couldn't be together every night, the ship had duties, and Marcus maintained his university position to avoid suspicion. But 3 or 4 times a week, that familiar shimmer would appear in his bedroom, and they'd fall into each other's arms like coming home. Lyra taught him to see the universe as her people did, not as cold physics but as living poetry. Naya showed him meditation techniques that let him sense the subtle energies they navigated by. In return, he introduced them to human music, to the taste of chocolate, to the way rain sounded on windows. They learned each other's bodies with tenderness and curiosity, the places that made Lyra gasp, how Naya's luminescence brightened with pleasure, what touches made Marcus tremble. Their intimacy was gentle exploration, whispered confessions, laughter when cultural differences created amusing misunderstandings. One night, as they lay tangled together in Marcus's bed, Naya traced patterns on his chest. I never believed in the old stories about triadic bonds. Thought they were just romantic myths. And now? Marcus asked. Now I know some myths are just truths we haven't lived yet, she murmured. Lyra pressed a kiss to his shoulder. Our people have a saying, the universe conspires to unite those brave enough to call out to the stars. You were brave, Marcus. You saw us and called out. I'm glad I did, he said softly. Every impossible moment of it. Outside his window, the city sparkled like a mirror of the cosmos above. Somewhere overhead, invisible and watchful, the night bloom kept its vigil. Inside, 3 hearts beat in synchrony, human, alien, and something entirely new. They'd found what everyone searches for across the vastness of space, a place to belong. Not a planet or a ship, but the space between 3 souls who'd chosen each other against every odd. And that, Marcus thought as sleep took him wrapped in their warmth, was the most extraordinary discovery of all. Lessons. True connection transcends all boundaries, species, distance, and fear, when hearts are brave enough to reach across the dark. Love requires courage, the courage to be seen, to risk rejection, and to believe impossible things can become real. Home isn't a place but the people who make you feel you finally belong, wherever in the universe you find them. The universe rewards those who approach the unknown with curiosity and kindness rather than fear, opening doors to wonders beyond imagination.